Good afternoon. I'm Brian Sanders, Director for the AIA South Carolina Design Awards. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are kicking off this program with a feature on the work of our jury chair, Craig Borum, FAIA, and his firm Ply Plus Architecture, Urbanism, and Design, based in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Please enjoy.
Founded in 1999 as Ply and reimagined under the new partnership of Craig Borum and Jen McGray in 2016, Ply Plus is a collaborative architecture practice dedicated to design excellence with an experimental approach to design research and creative invention. We work across a wide range of project types, often helping bring an architectural expression to the visions of our institutional and community partners. The work that we will share with you today reflects our team's expertise as it is elevated by our close engagement with our clients, consultants, and the tradespeople whose knowledge expand the scope of what is possible when working collectively. We have learned that approaching projects in this manner yields quality that exceeds typical budget expectations and enables the successful implementation of complex first-time projects. We take great pride in the work that we do and are so grateful for this opportunity to invite you to join us for a short journey through Southeast Michigan to visit 3 of our recent projects that exemplify our broader body of work. Practicing architecture in the Great Lakes Basin of the Midwest situates our work both geographically and culturally. Geographically, we live in an immensely important watershed, home to 40 million people and the world's largest freshwater system. The natural features of this territory have profoundly shaped the urban patterns and processes that establish the context for past, present, and future architectural innovations. Culturally, the ubiquity and dynamics of industries throughout the region embody a gritty ethos of making that inspires our practice from design conception through construction. The legacies of industry are complex and often challenging, yet they also have produced a notable philanthropic character and important institutional anchors. This is a vibrant and spirited region that inspires our dedication to design excellence and the uniquely local community-focused visions that contribute so much to our experience of place.
MOCAD is a young institution that presents exhibitions and programming around contemporary, visual, literary, music, and performing arts, connecting Detroit to the global art world while simultaneously serving the city as a free and open place to meet, learn, and build community. Located on Woodward Avenue in Garfield, between Detroit's downtown and its cultural district, the museum is an innovative addition to Detroit's vibrant Midtown neighborhood and the Sugar Hill Arts District. It has become an important hub for the exploration of emerging ideas in the contemporary arts. The 22,000 square foot building was originally designed in 1906 by Albert Kahn as one of the first auto showrooms in Detroit. After numerous other uses, the building was renovated in 2006 by Andrew Zago Architects into the new museum, while maintaining its palpably historic and gritty character. With its raw, flexible, and long-span spaces, the building is well suited to the exhibition of contemporary art. Our initial task was to transform the underdeveloped parking lot of the museum and Mike Kelly's mobile homestead site into a cohesive campus. Our design opens a new connection through the block, creating a continuous pedestrian pathway and a new outdoor performance space. This presented an opportunity to reorient the museum entrance to the performance space, integrating MOCAD into its urban context. Much of our work involves upgrading and providing new infrastructure that the museum currently lacks. From a heating and cooling system that brings air conditioning and humidity control to the museum for the first time, to stormwater management strategies that provide a visual marker of environmental improvements. In each case, our goal is to leverage these improvements to enhance the art and community programming of the institution. Arts programming at MOCAD has always made use of the full extent of its building and site. Outside events include art performances, installations, as well as a summer concert series and youth events. Our design simply gives these activities more spatial presence and support. Our design reconceives the current parking lot as an event plaza that accommodates parking, while utilizing graphics that prioritize the legibility of its use for outdoor events. The renovation work includes improvements to the building as well. These include reopening a portion of the Woodward Avenue facade, expanding the existing bar and cafe to allow for full restaurant service, renovating the existing restroom to provide all gendered use, and designing a new entry canopy off the plaza. Perhaps the most important change is the relocation of the main entry from Garfield to a location that directly connects with the new plaza and pedestrian corridor. This change increases the porosity and transparency between inside and outside and allows the energy of the arts programming to flow across the site. The new entry transforms the building's rough utilitarian backside into a prominent facade for an important cultural and urban hub. The new cantilevered canopy evolved in response to a series of complex and shifting constraints. These include the integration with existing structure and space limitations driven by utility easements. The interior renovations are strategically surgical and often strip away existing layers to enhance the raw character of the industrial space while carefully positioning refined elements that enhance the visual connections between the museum and the city. Infrastructural improvements to the environmental systems and enclosure are also carefully designed to achieve a more contemporary standard of performance. They are carefully integrated to recede into the background in order to highlight the work of artists and performers and community members alike. Strategic cuts have been made between the three main areas of the building, revealing a layering of spaces that draws the public through them, from Woodward to the new event plaza. Finally, the Woodward windshield is a return to the level of visual connectivity the building was originally designed to achieve as an auto showroom, inviting the city into the museum and reopening the glass facade that had been bricked in, closing it off for so long.
The drive along Woodward Avenue from Mocat to Marl offers some important insights into the legacy of industry in our region. Woodward Avenue is Detroit's most iconic radial road, running 27 miles from Detroit to Pontiac. First formalized after the Detroit Fire of 1805, Woodward Avenue made history when it was converted to the first mile of concrete highway in 1909. Within 7 years, its entire length was paved, and Woodward became the cultural center of the Motor City. Woodward is also the site of the Ford Piquette plant, where the Ford Model T was developed, and Ford's first moving assembly line in Highland Park. Further north on Woodward, the Cranbrook Academy was established as a site dedicated to arts and crafts education and a counterpoint to Ford's advancements in automation. The debate between the values of life represented by city versus countryside and production versus craft have an ongoing influence to this day. Our own approach to this history is to adopt a both-and attitude and explore the opportunities that arise from the depths of tradition in making through digital fabrication and handcraft. The Michigan Animal Rescue League is one of Southeast Michigan's most established animal shelters, serving the community since 1953. The new building replaced an undersized and outdated structure that served as a shelter for almost 60 years. The transformation from old to new looked to balance some of the attributes of the previous shelter that were valued by the staff and community, including an approachable and welcoming scale and the use of marl blue. The new construction expanded the space given over to animal care, including the addition of a dedicated medical wing, thereby greatly enhancing Marl's ability to achieve its mission of being a community leader in nonprofit animal welfare and providing the highest quality of life to dogs and cats through rescue, medical care, short and long-term sanctuary, adoption, education, and outreach. We worked in close partnership with Marl's amazing design committee with an eye to the role that architecture can play in improving the quality of the wait for a forever home and achieving a different breed of shelter. The topography of the site drops from north to south, which allowed us to organize all of the animal care spaces on a shared level and to tuck an administrative suite of offices and conference space underneath the new southern entry. The adaptable cat wing is organized along the southern facade of the building and provides 3 rooms with custom cat condos and a cage-free cat room. The windows in each room are animated with activity as the cats explore the custom wood shelves and perches that provide continuous routes of movement or sunlit naps. The dog neighborhoods occupy the center of the building and are organized around an open courtyard space. Each neighborhood provides indoor and outdoor space for 4 dogs, including a shared outdoor play space for each group of 4. Inside, the neighborhoods are separated by doors to minimize the acoustic transfer of sound, thereby helping eliminate triggers that can elevate the stress levels of dogs and staff alike. Finally, the north wing of the building follows the footprint of the previous shelter by reusing the existing footings. It provides a dedicated intake entry and medical spaces for exams, surgery, recovery, and holding. The building design deploys a strong use of color to maintain Marl's community identity while signaling an exciting, forward-looking future with the improved facility. From the adoption entry, visitors are greeted with a main reception desk, as well as views into the adoptable cat and dog spaces. the development of these spaces was heavily influenced by scientific research in the animal behavior and welfare literature to address key spatial and environmental challenges that can lead to unhealthy stress levels for sheltering cats and dogs, including natural light levels, noise levels, and animal housing design that accommodates freedom of movement and choice. In the adoptable cats room, this led to the design of custom condos that provide airflow, choice of side and visual openness, and views to outside. Marl has witnessed that the quality of the weight of its animals can greatly improve their future success when adjusting to life with a new family. Likewise, the building project challenges animal shelter stereotypes by deploying the use of a central courtyard to provide the adoptable dogs' neighborhoods with abundant natural light, acoustic control, and the elimination of nose-to-nose kennels. The environmental control systems include a high rate of fresh air exchange and radiant floor heating for the interior and exterior portions of the dogs' kennels. Marl has now been open since October of 2020 and continues to provide its full range of services to the community, including adoptions by appointment. Staff have already noted improvements in the post-op recovery rates of its animals, a decrease in stress-induced behaviors, and appreciate many of the same architectural qualities that have the capacity to elevate the well-being of all of its occupants.
Fostering a spiritual community has always been at the heart of the mission of St. Mary Mercy Hospital. The first building of the current campus was established in 1959 by a group of Felician sisters to serve a community in urgent need of healthcare as the auto industry grew exponentially. Since this time, the population of the region has continued to grow and become demographically and spiritually diverse. While Catholic in its mission, the hospital recognized the growing diversity of its community. It established a design brief to serve the range of faiths represented in the community, including 3 main spiritual spaces: the main Catholic chapel, a non-denominational reflection space, including an enclosed courtyard, a Muslim prayer space with proper facilities for ablution rites. Each of these brought with it its own differing spatial typology: the Catholic Mass, with its focus on procession, individual reflection using nature as a point of focus, and individuals collectively oriented toward Mecca. The siding of the chapel was developed to integrate into the existing interior organization of the hospital, as well as to act as a visual beacon to those approaching and passing by. Using the flat massing of the existing building as a backdrop, the silhouette of the chapel dips to borrow the cross from the existing facade, and then rises to present a more prominent contrast to the hospital massing. The figuration and plan articulates each of the main rooms for worship and reflection, and then is tightly wrapped with a unifying surface allowing each room its autonomy while uniting them in a singular overall form. The chapel serves the hospital community as a 24/7 place of prayer, healing, and refuge, as well as providing a daily 6 a.m. Mass. The chapel's apertures match orientations with programmatic opportunities, including a high east window to provide early light for the morning service. There is a southern opening that holds a custom installation of dichroic glass that bounces spectral colors into the space, recalling the history of stained glass windows, and a row of western-facing windows that establish a relationship with the future healing. The interior of the chapel is animated with a number of key elements that play a role in spatializing the relationships between liturgical and symbolic markers. The interior walls, ceiling, and door of the sanctuary, as well as the dichroic glass window, are positioned and sculpted to articulate the importance and relationship between the carved stone altar, the tabernacle, and the ambo. The entry door integrates a blackened steel frame with 2 layers of slightly distorted walnut slats. Positioned in relationship to each other, they create a visual moire as the door moves from open to closed. The material and geometric expression of the door signifies the importance of this threshold, while also allowing visibility into the chapel, welcoming visitors. The geometry of the conical corner of the chapel celebrates the position of the tabernacle, the most important liturgical element within the sanctuary. The development of the ceiling geometry strengthens a visual connection with the tabernacle, in contrast to the processional axis of the space, which aligns with the solid stone carved altar. On the exterior, this important corner is accentuated by the patterning of the brickwork and coincides with the tallest moment in the building's silhouette. The complex brick patterning at this corner was intended to accentuate the large, relatively unbroken surface of brick, creating a varied texture that transforms with the dynamic play of light across the day. The pattern was designed and refined through iterative experiments with both digital and physical modeling. These experiments became the tools we used to engage the Masons in a collaborative dialogue that coupled our ability to quickly adapt to shifts in pattern and spacing with our digital tools and the feedback from their tacit knowledge. This collaboration allowed us to tailor the drawings and information models we produced to streamline their work, making micro adjustments in the head joints of the mortar so that the varied length of each course as it traverses the corner resolves at the termination of the wall in an uncut brick. This approach also established regions of the wall with consistent patterns of spacing and rotation, yet visually yields a gradually shifting pattern. Here's Mike Piazza, the head mason for Davenport, with one of the digital models we organized by Brick Course on his indestructible iPad. This model allowed him to give us live feedback course by course as they made minor field adjustments that we could then calibrate back to our models as the work progressed. From Mike's end, he brought skill and ingenuity to staging and establishing methods to facilitate consistency in the pattern across his whole team of masons. Using the mason's trusty string line, but instead of horizontal calibration, they deployed them vertically across the facade, establishing the leading points of rotated brick. This is one of several aspects of the project that are extensions of ongoing design research into environmental performance and digital fabrication workflows, and give important spatial and material expression to the overall design, and ultimately to the way the space and the architecture is experienced. In reflecting on these efforts and the productivity of collaboration is necessary to realize the conical corner, we have embarked on a research project through the Taubman College Prototyping Tomorrow grant program, bringing together the power of digital tools and the craft and skill of the masons to produce a more robust workflow. We hope that by combining 3D parametric modeling, BIM, and mixed reality technology using Hologram for HoloLens with the tacit knowledge base of the masons, we can achieve the potential to enhance our workflow, linking evaluative feedback analyses across multiple software platforms to iteratively refine a range of brick bond and lithe patterns that simultaneously achieve a high level of energy performance, structural autonomy, and the necessary protection against water and vapor penetration as a building envelope. Back inside the chapel, the three primary liturgical elements, the tabernacle, the altar, and the ambo, became a project within the project. These elements complement the geometries of the building and were each carved from solid pieces of dolomitic limestone. The three elements were fabricated by Quara Stone in Madison, Wisconsin, using the digital models we produce to guide the robotic carving. With our clients and the team from Quara Stone, we traveled to Upper Wisconsin to select the individual blocks of stone we would work from, looking at the grain of veining and the integrity of its mass for evidence of fissures before extraction. Back in Madison, we worked with Quara Stone using 3D prints as shop drawings prior to turning the robots loose on the stone.
The chapel's ceiling geometry was developed to inscribe an experience of intimacy and scale while establishing an important focal point on the tabernacle. The tabernacle is visited throughout the day by the hospital's lay ministers to transport the Eucharist to those patients too ill to attend a Mass in person. The diagonal axis of the ceiling brings a visual importance to this function and balances the more traditional axes inscribed in the terrazzo floor. We constructed a scaled physical model to study this geometry, which informed our selection of ceiling products able to provide a continuously perpendicular relationship between the ceiling slats and the floor to assure that the systems above the ceiling were obscured from oblique views. Of all the custom elements, however, the dichroic window garnered a special importance to the project when it was sponsored by a group of hospital nurses in honor of a colleague who they lost that year. A previous research grant, funded by Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning and Guardian Glass, enabled us to study an environmental application of dichroic glass and develop a specific recipe that aimed to take advantage of its capacity to reflect colors of the visible light spectrum in controllable directions. This knowledge translated to the chapel through the deployment of a laminated glass application of dichroic glass, along with the design of a custom steel framework that organizes the two dichroic films at angles and spacing that maximize the range of colors produced across the seasons. The visual effects recall the rich color qualities of stained glass windows, while adding a dynamism to the movement of light across the curved walls of the sanctuary.